Live from the road, inside the Clear2 Mortgage Sprinter van. This is Road to Close, the show where real estate meets real talk. Hosted by mortgage pro and deal maker, Paul Apostolakis. Every week, agents, lenders, investors, the power players who move the market. We bring them here, straight to you, unfiltered, on the road, and ready to close. You're listening to Road to Close. Buckle up.
What is up, everyone? Paul Apostolakis. We are Road to Close, where we drive a Sprinter van around Metro Detroit and pick up mortgage and real estate professionals and talk to them about the market. Today, we have a very, very special guest, Renee Losia Acho with Keller Williams Domain. How are you, ma'am?
I'm great.
Awesome to have you on the show again.
Loving this setup.
You like the setup?
Yeah, definitely new and different from the last few times I've been with you on this.
Yeah.
But it's super cool.
Yeah, this is a little bit different. In a Sprinter van and beaming out to the whole world live. We're actually live right now. People are actually watching. Well, I don't know if anybody's watching yet.
Better watch my swearing.
Yeah, that's neither here nor there. So today we're going to talk about the 50-year mortgage. It's been all over the headlines. President Trump was talking about it. We're going to talk about the real estate market here in Metro Detroit. Renee is a professional in the higher end market, all markets really, but you delve into the jumbo area for mortgages. So we'll talk about that. And we'll also talk about what we think is going to happen for next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can handle that.
You can handle that?
I can handle that.
All right. So let's start off with the topic that everybody's been talking about, the 50-year mortgage. So Trump came out and was like, definitely a 50-year mortgage. That would solve all our problems in the housing market.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
Well, first of all, if you're looking at it from a payment standpoint, sure, why not? A 50-year amortization is going to take down your monthly payment and make something more affordable. So that certainly opens up, in concept and theory, it works. So did trickle down economics in theory work. If you look at the studies and different things that have come out that you anticipate, what are the pain points of buying right now? Well, one of them is the interest rate, which is really a translation of payment. That's really what that means.
1,000%.
People are just concerned about payment and what that payment looks like. So if the interest rate stays high, but you amortize over 50 years, obviously that's going to bring down your monthly payment amount, and that to some degree solves it. But the bigger issue is it's a Band-Aid on a big problem. And the problem is not the interest rate.
Yeah. From a mortgage loan officer standpoint, I got to take, I've got my loan officer hat on.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what's going to happen. So this is what the critical piece that people don't understand. When you extend out a mortgage, it extends out the risk that the bank is willing to take on that mortgage.
Correct.
Right. So one thing that I know for sure is that whenever there's higher risk, what do the banks do with the rate?
They're going to increase it.
You're going to get a higher rate.
Right.
So yeah, you might get a 50-year amortization mortgage, but let's say rates are at 6.5% today. Your rate on a 50 years probably going to be in the 7s, 7.25, 7.5, right?
So now you're back to the same payment.
$50 less, maybe.
Yeah. And then the bigger problem, Paul, is that you're not going to have the equity play on that. So if you look back at the 2007, 8, 9, that I love the selective amnesia of all politicians and lawmakers.
Selective amnesia.
It's like, oh, let me remember this, but forget that. So the problem is that if you don't have equity, now, of course, we've corrected part of that by putting at least 15 to 20% down. We have certain exceptions for it, but overall, at least people can actually put money down. They aren't going to build the equity in the property. And if things change and the market fluctuates. Now we're back to a property that you are really not making money on if you go to sell it, or possibly giving back to the bank. That was my favorite phrase. Let me give this back.
Giving it back.
Yeah, because there's a return policy.
Yeah, there's a return.
Yeah, it's in the fine print. So that is not really going to solve something. It's, again, in theory, that is certainly something to consider. The more important part is to help people make more money, to stabilize an economy. And the other big problem that no one is liking to talk about is that there is a housing shortage. So that's where supply and demand. It is simple economics. Supply and demand will always drive any market, and pricing will then drive the demand for it. So if you have more supply on the market, the inventory levels aren't as low, then you can actually have pricing stabilize a little bit. 6.5%. I mean, Paul, 6.5% is a good damn rate.
Yeah. 6.25%, 6.5%. I mean, that's where we're at right now.
Yeah. People were spoiled. 2.5%. Are you flipping kidding me?
Nobody's getting that.
What the hell is that?
It was anomalous, and people did get spoiled. And I think people are starting to get kind of reacclimated to the idea that, like, I bet you if you give someone a 5 in front of their rate, they're going to be really happy in today's market.
100%. We've talked to people about that because we've seen some things dip into the 5s. So 5%, if you can make more money than what you're borrowing against, that's your rule of thumb. And people are just so hyper focused on the interest rate. Well, do you have a good financial planner? Are you putting your money where it's making money? So if you can get 5.5% or 6% on your money somewhere, which is, it's conservative. That's conservative. Put in a damn bond and you can get that.
Right.
A savings account in some places are giving you 5.5%, and you loan at the same rate, you're golden. So there are, and you know this, I'm gonna tee this up for you. There are opportunities. You could do interest only loans if you're trying to get a payment. You can do creative buy down for a year. There's ways to get you in that don't have to put you into a 50-year mortgage.
Right. I am okay. So I'm going to say it out here. I'm against it.
Well, of course we're against it. It doesn't solve shit. It's a sound bite that went all over the news that's going to give the media something to talk about for the next 48 hours until something else comes out of his mouth that gives him something to talk about. And I'll just go on the record saying I can't stand any of the politicians, so I'm not in favor or against any of them. I think they're unilaterally nuts. All
across the board.
Nuts. So it's a sound bite for the moment. In theory, it could be an interesting concept. We're going to see it roll out. Just because he said it, it's going to come out.
It's coming out. I mean, he wouldn't say it if it didn't come out. So we're going to get a 50-year mortgage. The rate's probably going to be higher. People are going to be able to potentially get into a house for cheaper, but I don't think it's putting them in a better overall financial position. Now, with that being said,
the banks will like it at 7.25%.
Yeah, they'll love it. But with all that being said, I do think that a 50-year mortgage is better than renting.
Well, so this is an interesting conversation. Renting temporarily for some people is what you can do. I mean, I don't believe in long-term renting. Let's just say that. There's a temporary fix that sometimes
you need to rent for 6 months or a year.
If you capitalize on the sale of your home and you don't want to jump right into another purchase and take that equity and then flip it into something that's not going to actually be smart, you need to take a breather.
Yeah.
So I don't see it as a problem as, let's say 1 year or less time.
Sure.
If you look at any trajectory, and I don't care, you can actually even factor in 2007 and 2008 into this. And I've got numbers and charts that, anyone can look up if you want to. I can send them to you. But if you look from 1950 to now, including some of the biggest nosedives, the 80s interest rate, the 2008 nosedive of, the housing debacle.
Everybody remembers it. I mean, it was a
50%. You can even factor in COVID and what happened. And even once all of those things are factored in, even if you go from 1980 to now, there is a 4.5% increase rate in your value of your home average over that time. So it still proves to be, even with these significant things, something that is always going to bring you back
wealth. Yeah.
It's how you build wealth. But, the housing to rent is really, like I said, temporarily, it's fine. The big conversation that I have with my team, though, this is kind of wild. So I've got 3 kids that are all in their 20s, and 2 of them have graduated college, and one of them is on her way to do that.
Congrats.
Thank you. They're my biggest achievement in life.
Yep.
Their grades, and they graduated from Michigan. I mean, these are Ross Business School kids. They're not like, hey, I just kind of got a random degree kind of kids.
Right.
Their contemporaries cannot find jobs.
I know.
There are so many of my friends that have kids similar ages are talking about how these last couple of years of graduating classes are not finding jobs. Fortunately, my kids did. Thank God they've got great jobs, knock on wood. But
That's awesome.
when we talk about these kids, so I was talking about this with my team. We do a team meeting and I said, now what does that mean? So many more of these kids are not renting because typically, you're 22 to 25, you're renting or you're buying, a cute little bungalow somewhere in your first time, you get a job, you're buying something cute, you're buying your first car or whatever.
Yep.
They're not buying because they don't have jobs. They're taking temporary spots, maybe, in restaurants or, front desk jobs or those temporary placements because the big corporate companies, the finance companies, the marketing companies, AI is shifting that paradigm pretty significantly. And so those kids who would be buying are either living at home with parents or they are renting with friends.
They're pulling their money together.
Exactly. And so that rental market, if you're looking as an investor, it's a smart place to be for that early, that 20 something, we'll call it. Renter, you're building your position in life and you're taking your time, but they don't even have the income for that right now. And then so that's dipping into it. And now think about, I always talk about the ripple effect when we're talking about the economy. So if these kids aren't buying the, $150,000, $200,000, whatever,
starter
apartment,
homes,
condo, starter home, that means that the $350,000 to $500,000 seller or buyer can't jump to the $800,000, and the 800 isn't jumping to the 1.5 million. So we typically look at funnels going down from the top.
Yeah.
But when you look at real estate, and I have to train my staff to think about this, and my team in my office, we talk about the reverse ripple because that's the ripple up that I always look to. As you pointed out, I happen to be in a more luxury market, not on purpose, but that's just because, and we do everything. I mean, I sell $100,000 houses to $200,000 to $200 million if I have to. I can sell at any price point, but I find that this happens to be my niche. And I look to the lower end markets in these other areas to see the prediction on what's going to happen on for my buyers.
Because it gives you the signals that you're looking for.
And and I'm living it with these 20 somethings, these are my kids, kids' friends. You're getting
firsthand experience from it. Yeah.
I mean, and everybody I talk about, my kids I've got kids in New York and in Chicago and Indiana and San Francisco. That's where my kids are. And they're talking about their friends who have graduated from these amazing schools with these amazing degrees. A lot of them are going back to school and getting masters, PhDs because they can't find work.
That's wild. That's a shame.
It really is.
It's a shame. I mean, you go to school for 4, 5, 6 years, whatever it is, or depending on what you're graduating with. And, the dream of going into a corporate job, getting your place and even as a parent, getting your kid out.
I, of course, want all of mine to live with me. I'm like, don't you have to live with mom? They're
there
like,
you go.
Absolutely not.
Bye.
But again, I'm weird. But it's so economically in the housing industry, in the housing market, just bringing it back to what we started with, is the leasing market, I think, is going to end up being a popular market here for that group of that demographic.
So if something can be said out of that, is that if you're an investor, it's probably a good time to buy some rentals.
Yes, sir. That was the takeaway.
Right.
That was the takeaway with my team. I said, so if you're talking to people who are investors, or if you're looking to put some money somewhere and, diversify your portfolio, finding homes that make good rentals in solid areas that can, give you a return, because it's not just about what people, and then my staff, my team was asking, well, some of these taxes are really high if you're not homestead. And I said, you have to look at it. Again, bringing it back full circle to what I talked about, you are going to increase between 4 to 8% depending on where you're buying. So your money is resting somewhere that has a good solid base, and you're collecting, even if it's just paying your mortgage.
Even if you break even on the mortgage, you got a write-off.
Yes.
You've got an asset.
Exactly.
And you have a depreciating asset. Not just an asset, right? You have an appreciating asset.
Yeah. Appreciating, there's cost you can do on it. There's so many things that are values that if you're looking to place money, that I think the rental market is going to become, and it's going to continue to be in demand.
Well, historically, like we said, not to beat a dead horse, but historically speaking, housing has done good through tumultuous times where there were issues with the market, and housing has withstood most of those really, really big issues like 2008, COVID. It has still shrugged along.
And it always will.
Yeah.
I mean, if it didn't implode completely and forever in 08, and it didn't again implode during COVID, I think that's kind of that's the nuclear test.
Yeah, it's resilient. We're in a resilient. What do you think is going to happen next year, going into next year?
So, what we see, and anyone, some people have missed the memo, I like to say, and the fact that it's no longer a seller's market. Like, wake up, smell the coffee, folks.
Yeah, it's
and
time.
This is my favorite thing when people are, well, in the news, or I read, and I'm like, okay, all right, let's just think about that for a minute, everyone. The newspaper and the media and the information and the statistics come out 1 quarter behind what's actually happening.
Always.
So in order for them to report these statistics, it's yesterday's news. Literally.
Like when we're in the industry and we watch the news and they're talking about our market, it's nauseating because they're so far behind sometimes.
It's the worst. So I have 2 issues. One, the media, because everyone looks at it as if it's real time. Nothing statistically is real time. They had to gather that data. So it's old damn news. It's last quarter. And depending on where you live, the last quarter could be the shittiest quarter you've got. Like if they look at first quarter of next year, well, or the fourth quarter around here, Michigan market, they're 2 slowest seasons.
It's very slow.
So don't tell me that housing went down in December. Well, no shit, Sherlock.
It goes down every year.
It's the holidays.
Yeah.
So that drives me nuts. And then people are listening to that. And then my other favorite as well, Zillow said, and I'm like, okay, so let me again back up.
Yeah.
Zillow is to realtors what WebMD is to doctors. Don't use it.
I've got a sore throat. I'm going to check WebMD.
Yeah, and then you're going to have cancer in 17 different areas of your face and your body and your brain.
Syphilis. I've got syphilis in the throat.
100%. You're going to lose your leg. Your toe's going to fall off. I mean, you're going to grow a second, chin. The whole thing is ridiculous. But people are like, Zillow. Zillow also calculates the basement on a price per square foot that isn't legal in Michigan. So, okay, I'm on a rant. I went left. I know, but it drives me crazy. So what's going to happen next year? You have to be hyper-focused on your area. Yeah. And if you're looking at, the Oakland County, the Metro Detroit areas, the market has stabilized a little bit for balance and inventory, not completely.
Yeah.
But we see that there are more people who are loosening the purse straps of the 2.5% interest and going, 5%, 5.5%, not so bad. Okay, fine. I'm going to sell my house. There's enough equity in it. I see options for purchase, which was a big bottleneck. They said, where the hell am I going?
Right. Even if I make $300,000, $500,000 my house, $1 million, where am I going? And now you're starting to see those options come on. The building, has settled back in after the leveling out of, there's no building inventory because after COVID, it took so much time to get product. And now that's loosened up. People are willing to renovate again because they can get product, and your people tradespeople are out there able to do this. So I think that next year, I don't see anything going significant. I think at best we're going to stabilize. Yep.
I think we're going to see sort of a flat growth. There might be a soft correction on listing, because as inventory comes in and as things stay longer on the market, which we are seeing days on market are much longer.
Yep.
And as these interest rates are going to soften, people will be willing to list their house and forego their maybe 3% to a 5%, because then it ends up making sense to take advantage of the asset and then buy something else. So I think that the next 2 quarters, or first 2 quarters of next year, are going to see a leveling of inventory to some degree. It's still going to be a little bit of a seller's market, but it's not going to be what we've seen for the last few years. And then I think the pricing is going to have to make the adjustment. So when I said that sellers have missed the memo, they still think they can price their homes at these gaudy
prices,
right? You can't, and they're like, well, I want da da da. I say, well, you know what? I want to be a 6-foot blonde. Some shit's not happening. Like, let's just be realistic here.
Yeah.
So that's how you got to just understand that the market that you're hearing in the media is yesterday's news.
Yes.
Have an expert who can give you the details of what's actually happening in your market.
Yeah.
And strategize not on what you want, but what's real, because days on market are still the enemy of every listing.
I would tell you that our podcast has more forward thinking information for the population than the news does.
100%.
The news is just not a good place to get your news.
Well, our saying in the office is, would you look at the national weather report to get your local weather for the week?
That makes a lot of sense.
No. So
That
why are
makes
you
a lot
looking
of
at the
sense.
national weather report? I don't give a shit what's going on in California. I want to know what, do I need to take an umbrella to not ruin my hair today?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. We don't want hair ruined.
No.
That's horrible.
That'd be bad.
So that's what you're seeing. What are you seeing in the luxury market? Obviously you do spend some time there. Here in Michigan, we do have a luxury market, as surprisingly to some people out nationally, but we have a very healthy luxury market. And Renee, you're kind of the forefront of that. So tell me a little bit about what's going on there, because what I do when in my situation, I look to the luxury market to kind of do the same thing that you do, looking at kind of the first time home buyers.
Right.
The luxury market kind of starts making moves a little bit earlier than some people.
Unfortunately, I think that this luxury market, we talk about, and if you do watch the news, you hear about, affordability.
Yeah.
And it's real.
Yeah.
And the market for new construction, the affordability or lack of affordability in what these costs are certainly,
it's a barrier.
It's insane. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
If anybody, when people come to Michigan and I show them price per square foot on what new construction is, they're like, what the hell's going on? You guys aren't New York. There is no ocean here, right? And they don't understand that, you've got pricing. People think, Detroit is falling into Middle Earth next week, And they drive them around. They're like, what the actual hell's going on over here?
Yeah.
So the luxury market, which is based on, just like, you're saying, Paul, the luxury market is primarily dictated by new construction.
Yeah.
You start with that price point. So if you're new construction, which is the highest end of luxury, right?
Yeah.
The newest, the best bells and whistles, the coolest, and fresh everything, fancy everything. And our new construction around here is really leveled up custom stuff.
Yeah.
So when you're seeing new construction homes between, depending on the area, anywhere from $600 a square foot to $1,000 a square foot.
Holy cow.
And they're
crazy.
Transacting, appraising, and being purchased. So if you factor in the cost that increased after COVID and all those cost increases, then it started to shift a little bit. Then you have the tariffs. Then it started to shift a little bit. And then even if the product is like your lumber, let's say, goes down, your labor is still significantly high.
Everything's gone up.
Everything's high. So now you've got the luxury market that is starting here, and then everything trickles down from there. So if this is what the cost of new construction is at $800 a foot or $600 a foot, that means a renovated home might be $400 a foot. Right. That means a house that is in need of repairs is maybe, $250 a foot.
Right.
So that's kind of how you start to price approach. So while new construction stays high, that's going to be your pricing. And I can tell you the demand is still there. And
it's there.
It's thank God. But you do have a lot of people who they want the new, they want, they've got the money. They're not bothered by the interest rate. The jumbo loan is not having, now we've got 900, what is it, 927 is your marker for a conventional loan.
So if you're buying a $1.5 million house, you put $500,000 down, you're conventional all of a sudden, right?
And that was a game changer when they announced it, because I said to the office, and I'm one of the owners of the company, so we do these these meetings every week, and I said, tell me what that just meant to you. And it didn't click for everybody. I said, it isn't $927,000. Now it means if you can buy a house at $1 million, because if you put even 10% down, it's $100,000.
Yep.
And you can be a non-jumbo loan
buyer,
which is hugely significant. And then that just elevated all the pricing.
That's all because of increased demand.
Exactly. Because now you don't have to buy at $750. You can buy at $1 million, and your interest rate doesn't go to 7.5%.
Yeah.
So you can afford it now.
Yeah.
And so that raised prices of those properties.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
So we're running out of time.
Okay.
This is the point of the show where we do 3 random questions.
Oh, jeez.
What?
Okay.
I haven't even asked anything
I'm
yet.
steadying myself. Okay, go ahead.
All right, they're totally random. I haven't thought about them prior.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so now that I'm thinking about them, I don't know where to go. Your
Oh.
reaction is giving me like,
Oh, just don't get anxiety. You've known me long enough.
okay. So if you could trade places with one other real estate agent, who would it be?
Like in location?
Well, whoever, anybody on the earth.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's
Anybody. I don't even know any other agents anywhere else. I'm so hyper local.
okay.
If I could trade
Just for a week.
Oh, just a week?
Yeah,
I'd like to sell in Miami. I'd find somebody big in Miami.
There you go.
I'd love to sell in Miami because I eventually just want
I love
to be in
Miami.
Miami.
We've talked about this.
Yeah,
I love
Miami's my place. So
Yeah.
I'd pick like the coolest agent out there that gets to like see all these really sweet places, and I'd go to Miami.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's a good answer.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
my
that.
vibe there.
I like
I know
that.
it's a crazy place, which is why I fit in.
Yeah, me too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like Miami quite a bit. It's the only place in the United States where it feels like you're in a different country.
It feels international.
Yeah, you
I
feel
totally agree.
super international.
Everyone speaks Spanish to me whenever I'm there, and I don't speak Spanish, and
No
I'm like,
idea.
I just play along.
Yeah, I'm like,
It's great.
hey,
Perfect. I think it's so fun. It's
Yeah.
just so alive, and it really does feel international. That's
It
what I
is.
love
Yeah,
about it.
it is the most international place to be. All right, next question. If you had to eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
I love myself a cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger?
Isn't that sick? I love cheeseburgers.
Really?
I know.
Wait. So who has the best cheeseburger then?
Oh, it just depends on like the moment.
Okay.
Like what kind of cheese? Is it a hangover cheeseburger?
Well, at McDonald's is a hangover
yeah,
cheeseburger,
of course.
right?
You got to go with a quarter pounder
Yeah,
with
and the
cheese for a
Coke for
hangover. A
McDonald's.
big Coke. Yeah, and then sometimes fries because if you're in it, you're in it.
Yeah,
You're in it to win it.
Yeah.
If you're like, a good burger, it depends. Like a smash burger.
Smash burger's good.
Yeah.
What about red coat?
I mean, you can't go wrong with red Coat.
Red coat's so good.
Yeah. I
So
like
good.
myself an obnoxious pickles, old fashioned. Don't give me some fancy bullshit with all kinds of. I want the lettuce, tomato, onion, pickle.
Yeah.
Love.
You like more
cheeseburger.
sliders or you more?
No, I'm not a slider girl.
No.
I want the burger.
I will say that I like sliders. Comet Burger has the best sliders.
Yeah, sliders. I don't know. There's not enough stuff that you can fit on them.
That's why you gotta have 4 of them.
Yeah, but they have to fit all on it. There's an art
So
to this. Paul.
you want the big boy.
I want the big burger with all the toppings, and then just. I know it's disgusting.
All right.
I can't help it.
So
I love it.
you heard it here first. Renee
Yeah,
likes
I
burgers.
love them.
Next question. Let's see here. Frank, you got one? Come on, Frank. Frank's our producer. He sits in the back of the or in front of us, and he just stares at us the whole time we're doing the show. It's really awkward.
I think it's great.
We
He's
have an
smiling
audience.
and laughing at me. It's a great audience.
He's a great audience. He's a great audience. So Frank, you don't have a question for Renee? No? Okay.
Wow.
If you could travel to any era, past or present, which era would you want to live in?
I think, so I would say the Roaring 20s because it's
I've
up my alley.
A little flapper
Yeah,
action.
flapper, drinking, partying,
Yep.
super underground. Nobody knows what you're doing.
Yep.
I would totally be one of those people that's like, I definitely wouldn't be the people who are marching for prohibition. It would definitely not be what I
You
was
would not
doing.
be
No,
one of those.
I'd be like, all right, step aside.
You're
woman.
a flapper.
I'm
you
a
might even
flapper.
be
I might even own a speakeasy.
Yeah, I can see you doing
I'd
that.
want to like jump over the 28 crash, 27, 28,
Yep.
and just hold that like 1924 to 1927 timeline.
Yep.
I think that the music, the art, the Renaissance,
Yep.
that's my jam.
That was right before the crash, obviously, in the
Yeah.
30s.
Yeah.
Which
I don't like the crash part of the 20s.
No, and just to not to like go back to the show, but a lot of people are saying that a crash is coming, right? They keep saying a crash is coming. I don't see it happening because we have so many levers in place to kind of avoid it.
I like to say a correction is coming.
Yeah.
A crash is not.
Yeah.
And what I think, if there's ever a takeaway from the other two crash considerations or nuclear situations that happened in the last 20 years, it's that don't worry. Even if it happens, if you're in a position to hold steady, to be able to have made a smart investment, it will correct. What we know is that housing is too important to the economy. It's too important to government. There's too many people who rely on it in so many different facets.
Yeah.
And what it means to us, it will survive. You just have to make sure you're playing smart so that you can hold on and not have to react to the market of the moment.
Absolutely. And the way that you do that is get good guidance from your agent and get a good agent. And speaking of
and
which,
get a good loan
they-
from somebody who doesn't screw you over on some kind of, jacked
Yeah.
up 50-year amortization.
Renee, tell the audience how they can get a hold of you.
Renee Losia Acho. I am at KW Domain. You can reach me at Renee at TVARLA. That's my partner, Tushar, TVARLA.com, or reach out to us on Instagram or Facebook at Renee. What is it's RLArealtors.com,
Yep.
ReneeLosia.com, just pick something with Renee and Losia and you'll
Just
find me.
Google her, dude.
Just
Yes,
find me.
she'll
I
come
don't
up.
even know where to find me.
Renee, thank you so much for doing the show.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it so much. On to the next week, guys. Thank you for listening. We will talk to you next week. Have a wonderful one.
Thanks.
That's it.